Good day, dear guys. I'm happy to see you. And today I'm your English teacher. My name is Anastasia Alexeyevna. And the first question, how are you today? I see that everyone is okay. And I'm also feel like $1 million. Feel like $1 million, it's a new expression for you and it means feel wonderful. Let's look at the example. 2 weeks ago, I had an operation on my knee. I am feeling like $1 million now. Apparently, the pain in my knee is all gone. I hope that you remember this expression and will use it in your everyday life. And if you are ready for today's lesson, let's start. And first of all, please read the riddle to guess what we are going to speak about. What am I? I spent a lot of time in the dark, but I am not a mole. I can fly, but I am not a plane. Myths say that I can shapeshift, but I am not a werewolf. Despite my name, you wouldn't use me to hit a ball. You have time to think what it might be. You are right. The answer is bat. And today's topic is investigate and report on bats. Now you know the topic of our lesson, and what else should you know before we start? That's right. You need to know the objectives of the lesson. Let's look at them. Learning objectives of this lesson. To expand students' vocabulary on the topic bats, to understand with little or no support the main points in extended talk, to develop reading skills and find the main idea, pay attention on details of the text, to develop students' ability to use a variety of word expressions about bats, and to develop students' ability to negotiate in a group and work as a team. And the first question for you. How do you feel about bats? Do you like them, don't like, don't know about your feeling? Please discuss it with your partner and give arguments. I have heard so many good answers. Great job. And now you know that there are lots of myths and facts. And let's play a little game. You should discuss some facts or myths about bats with your partner and give correct answer. First, what do you know about bats? With your partner, discuss the following statement and decide if they are myths or facts. The first one. All bats have rabies. Let's look what the rabies mean. Rabies is a serious disease which causes people and animals to go mad and die. And your idea, what it might be? Is it a fact or myth? Discuss. Great job, you are right. It's myth. Any mammal can have rabies, including bats. But there is only one human death each year in the United States from rabies bats. More people die from dog bites and bat bites. Okay, next fact or myth. Bats are dirty. What do you know about this? Please discuss. And again, you are right. It's myth. Bats groom themselves regularly like a cat and are actually very clean. Go on. Bats are mice with wings. Work with your partner. If you know some arguments, please give them. You are brilliant. Again, it's myth. Although bats and mice are both mammals, bats are more like you than like mice. For example, mice have many babies than humans, and bats usually have only one. Next one, bats are blind. You have time to discuss. It's incredible, you're again right, it's myth. A bat can see as well as you can. Next one is bats will suck your blood. Wow, very terrible. Time for discussion. Okay, let's look at the correct answer. It's myth. Only 3 types of vampire bats exist, and they live in Central America. Only once has one been found in Texas, and that was 40 years ago. And the last one. Bats get tangled in your hair. I think that nobody wants to have this experience. And your ideas about this expression, this statement? Great job. Bat echolocation is precise enough to catch a tiny bug in the air. A bat can easily avoid your head. And now, to know more about bats, you need to know new vocabulary. I think it's better to take your pen and your vocabulary copybook and write down new words there. And the first word, mammal. Please repeat after me. Mammal. Mammal, a type of animal that feeds milk to its young and that usually has hair or fur covering most of its skin. Let's look at example of mammal. Human beings, dogs and cats are all mammals. Don't forget to write down this word. Next one is pollinate. Pollinate. To give a pollen from another plant of the same kind so that seeds will be produced. The plants are pollinated by bees. I think that everyone have seen this. Fertilizer, next word, please repeat. Fertilizer, a chemical or natural substance added to soil or land to increase its fertility. We only use organic fertilizer in our gardens. I think that your mothers and grandmothers use it. Okay, next one, species. Species. A particular group of things or people that belong together or have some shared quality. There are approximately 8,000 species of ants. Don't forget to make notes. It's very important to know new words. Next one is habitat. Again, repeat after me. Habitat. The natural home or environment of an animal, plant or other organism. And synonyms are home or territory. Next word is hibernate. Of animal or plant, spend the winter in a dormant state. Hibernate. And look at the picture and read the example. Bears hibernating in their dens. Next one is bumblebee. Bumblebee, a large-haired social bee which flies with a loud hum. Roost, a support on which birds rest. Roost, it's a bird for hen. Bump. Bump, it's a verb. to hit against an object in a sudden and forceful way. I have a bruise from where I bumped my head. I think that each of you had this experience of bumping with something. Okay. Next word is saliva. Let's repeat after me. Saliva. Watery liquid secreted in the mouth by glands, providing lubrication for chewing and swallowing and aiding digestion. Examples of saliva. Our mouths are filled with saliva when we smell the delicious dinner. Okay, we have finished with new words. And now, are you ready to know more about birds? It's very good that you are ready. And now, again, please work with your partner. Discuss the following question about birds. First question is, where in the world do they live? What kind of homes do they have? What kinds of food do they eat? How do birds help humans? How does echolocation work? You have time to discuss it with your partner. I see how many facts you know about birds. It's very good. Now we are going to read. But before we start reading, you should know, of course, objective of this task. You should understand specific information and details in the text on the topic birds. You have met this learning objective if you can answer 5 out of 7 questions correctly. Are you ready? Now, you will read several short texts about birds and do matching activity. Let's start. What is a bat? Bats are mammals. They are the only mammals that fly. There are nearly 1,000 species of bats. They are found in all kinds of habitats. Bats live in a tropical rainforests. They live in the climate so cold that trees won't grow there. Unlike other animals, when bats rest, they lower their body temperature to save energy. In very cold weather, they hibernate. A bat's wings are made of 2 layers of skin. The wings are supported by bones like those in your hand. The thumbs have claws and lie outside the wings. The bat uses them to clean the places where it roosts. These may be trees, caves, or even buildings. Muscles attached to the wings power the bat's flight. Bats come in many sizes. The largest is the Malayan flying fox. It's 16 inches long. Its wings span 5.6 feet. The Kitti's hawk-nosed bat is the smallest of all animals. It's about an inch long, the size of bumblebee, and is also known as a bumblebee bat. I hope that you remember some facts and there appeared some new words in this text. I hope that you can recognize them. Next text, kinds of bats. Bats are divided into 2 groups, megabats large and microbats small. Megabats are called flying foxes because of their fox-like faces. They eat mostly fruit because they are sloppy eaters. They spread the seed and pollen of fruits such as bananas, dates and figs. This scattering helps the plants reproduce. Most microbats are meat eaters. About 2/3 of all bat species eat insects. One common American species, the little brown bat, may eat 600 mosquitoes in an hour. Other microbats eat fish frogs, small birds, lizards, and small mammals. Next, text about vampire bats. Then there are the famous vampire bats. There are 3 species of vampire bats, all in Central and South America. And yes, they do feed on blood, mostly that of farm animals. A vampire bat needs about 2 tablespoons of blood a day. Even vampire bats have their uses. Their saliva contains a substance that prevents blood from clotting. Doctors use it to make a medicine for heart attack and stroke patients. The name of this medicine is Dracoline. Benefits of bats. In recent decades, people have begun to appreciate bats for their beneficial roles. Bats are the most important natural enemies of night flight insect pests. Bats are important pollinators of plants, pollinating at least 500 species, including bananas, mangoes, cashews, dates, figs, and agave, from which tequila is produced. Without these helpful night flyers, many bat-pollinated plants and any animals that depend on them for food and shelter would disappear from the earth. Bats also produce nitrogen-rich fertilizer known as guano. And now, you see this label, it's a very famous game. Let's check to what extent you could understand the text and remember the details. And let's check how much money you can win in this game. And the first question: how many species of bats are there in the world? A. 100, B. about 1000, C. 10,000, and D. 100,000. You have time to think. Okay, let's check the correct answer. Answer is B, about 1000. Okay, great job. Next, when do bats usually hibernate? A. Snowy weather, B. Rainy weather, C. During windy weather, and D. Cold weather. Again, you are right. Correct answer is D. During the cold weather. How long is the biggest bat named Malayan flying fox? A. 16 centimeters, B. 31 centimeters, C. 41 centimeters, D. 1.7 meters. Let's check how well you know. That's right. Correct answer is C. Next one. How is a group of large bats called? A. Megabats, microbats, B. C. Bumblebee, and D. Kitti's hog-nosed. You have time to think. Okay, correct answer is A. How many mosquitoes are little brown bats able to eat? A. 500, B. 550, 650, and D. 600. You are brilliant students. Correct answer is D. 600 mosquitoes. What does the substance containing bat saliva prevent from? Flu, B. Clotting, C. Cold, and D. Migraine. It's a very interesting question. And again, you are correct. B. From clotting. What do bats produce that is very valuable in farming? A. Tequila, B. Pollen, C. Saliva, and D. Guano. I think that it's a very easy question for you, because you read attentively. And that's right, you gave correct answer. D. Guano. And now please check how many correct answers you have got And let's look at the success criteria. If you have at least 5 correct answers out of 7, it means that you achieved the objective of this reading. And to know more about birds, let's look at this text. How do birds find food? Nearly all birds are nocturnal, active at night, but it isn't true that birds are blind as a bird. Most fruit-eating birds feed by day and can see very well. Some even see colors. Even microbirds, which sleep by day and hunt by night, have some vision. They use it to find food. They also use smell and especially hearing. Birds send out short pulses of sound. The sounds are usually too high for people to hear. The sound waves spread out in front of the bird. They strike objects in this path and bounce back as an echo. This process, called echolocation, helps the bird find food and avoid bumping into things. And I have prepared one song that helps you to understand clearly what echolocation means, to know more about this process.
Echo, 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 echolocation. I find my prey, I find my way. Echolocation. I'm a little brown bat, hungry for a midnight snack. The sound wave blast, I release to find food fast. Bionic ears, ultrasonic frequencies I can hear. I sleep all day, upside down in my cave. I fly by night, don't need light, eat meals in flight. Echo, 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 echolocation. I find my prey, I find my way. Echolocation. A squeal like that hits an insect, bounces back. Sound reflections will determine my direction. Echo, 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 echolocation. I find my prey, I find my way. Echolocation. Echo, 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 echolocation. I find my prey, I find my way. Echolocation.
I think that you like this song. And now, let's look at this picture to compare. A bird sends out ultrasonic sound which bounces off the insect. The bird listens to the echoes as it zooms in on its prey. You see this picture, please remember the song. And I hope now you understand how this process works. Echolocation and how it works. Fill in the gaps with the appropriate words: object, negative, sound waves, and echo. You have time to read and to fill in. Bird sends out using their mouth or nose when the sound hits an object and comes back. The bird can identify N by the sound of the echo. They can even tell the size, shape, and texture of a tiny insect from its echo. Most birds use echolocation too in the dark and find food. And now it's high time to check. The first, sound waves. The second word is echo. The third is object, and fourth is navigate. And now, what do you see in this picture? What might it be? Please, with your partner, try to predict what it might be. Discuss. Share with your ideas. Switch on your imagination to give interesting ideas. Okay, let's check. Some birds live alone or in small groups. Others live in large groups called colonies. The largest colony is in any city lives under a bridge in Austin. People gather at sunset during the summer to watch the 1.5 million birds fly out. Is it the same with your prediction? I hope so. And now you are going to listen to the person who will talk about the colony that appears at night in Austin. While listening, you should answer the questions. And again, the objective for this listening: understand specific information and speech on the topic bats. And to achieve this objective, you should answer at least 4 out of 6 questions correctly. And questions: why do the bats come out from their home under the bridge each evening? Second question is: when did the bats first appear under the bridge in such large numbers? Why did the bats move in under the bridge? Why did a group called Bat Conservation International get involved in the protecting the Congress Avenue bats? Number 5. Where do Austin's bats go in winter? And number 6. In which state will you find Austin bats?
Why have hundreds of people gathered by the Congress Avenue Bridge in downtown Austin, Texas? Each night, from mid-March until early November, people gather to view one of nature's most spectacular sights. On a summer evening, spectators near the bridge might see 1 million or more bats spiraling into the sunset. The bats are hungry for insects, and evening, when large numbers of insects are out, is dinner time for bats. But it wasn't always that way. The bats, in this case Mexican free-tail bats, didn't appear in such large numbers until after the bridge was reconstructed in 1980. The reconstruction had created new crevices beneath the bridge that, as it turned out, were ideal places for bat roosting. Soon, bats began moving in by the hundreds of thousands. As the bat colony grew, many Austin area residents reacted with fear. They signed petitions hoping to have the bats eradicated. Then, in stepped Bat Conservation International. BCI organized a campaign to spread the truth about bats. Bats are gentle and incredibly sophisticated animals, that bat watchers have nothing to fear if they don't try to handle bats, and that on the nightly fly-outs of under the bridge, the Austin bats eat from 10,000 to 30,000 pounds of insects, including numerous agricultural and yard pests. Any day now, the bats will be leaving for their winter home in Mexico, but they'll be back next spring. And so will many of the people who live in and around Austin, because, today, most Austin residents truly love their bat neighbors.
Okay. The first answer: to feast on a dinner of insects. Number 2. In 1980 or after the bridge was reconstructed. Number 3. The new crevices created by reconstructions were perfect places for the bat roosting. Number 4. They wanted to teach people the truth about bats. Number 5. To Mexico. And 6. Texas. And now it's time to count correct answers. If you have at least 4 out of 6 or 5 out of 6, it means that you achieved the objective. And let's check vocabulary of today's lesson. Let's do crossword. An animal that is active at night is called... Question number 1. That's right. Nocturnal. Number 2. All bats can see. No bats are... It's great. They are blind. Not blind, sorry. Number 3. Many bats spend part of the year living in... Where do they live? Who knows? That's right, in cave. Question number 4. The process of navigating and locating food using sound is called... Who will attentive? Who can answer? It's incredible, you know everything. Echolocation. Number 5. A bat is a... Of course, mammal. Number 6. A group of birds living together is called a... You have time to think. Colony. And the last question. Nectar beds, flowers, just like hummingbirds. What might it be? Pollinate. Good job. Let's compare birds and birds. You see this diagram? Birds against birds. In the yellow space, you should write down all facts that you remember about birds. In the pink one, about birds. And in the blue space, you should write down common things about birds and birds. You can work with your partner if it's easy for you. And now let's look at the example and compare your diagram and mine. You have time to look at it and compare. You see the first one. Birds are mammals, birds are not mammals. Both have wings. Birds have fur, birds sleep upside down, birds have fingers and hands, birds can pollinate, birds' saliva contains draculin. Birds hatch from eggs, birds have feathers, not fur. Birds eat from their mother's mouth. And common things, both can fly, both can live in trees or under the roof in the buildings. Some kinds of birds and bats eat insects. And now, time for writing. To summarize everything that you got today, assess your writing. You have 15 minutes to do it. But before you start doing, let's look at the objective and criteria for writing task. You should use a range of vocabulary which is appropriate to topic and genre and which is spelled accurately and write the grammatical accuracy. Success criteria. I have written at least 15 sentences. I have used at least 6 new words. I have made only 1 grammar mistake. I have made only 1 spelling mistake. In front of each criteria, you should put tick if you think that you have achieved or working towards. Think about what you know about bats. Write a report that tells what does your bat look like. It's the first question that you should answer. What does your bat eat? How does your bat get its food? The second question. Please give arguments, examples while writing. Where does your bat live? Remember about the facts that you have known. Why should we protect bats? Think about benefits getting from the bats. Okay, and now to leave our today's lesson, you should fill and take it out the door. You should write one of the most important things you have learned. I would like to learn more about and a suggestion for the next time. Don't forget about your name and today's date. And of course, the most important thing is home task. Can you echolocate? Go into empty room like gym or hallway, holding to jingle bells or balls. Close your eyes and spin in a circle a few times. Keeping your eyes closed, stop and roll your ball in front of you. Listen to how long it takes to hit the wall. Turn to the right and roll the other one. Which wall is closer? How do you know? You just used echolocation. I hope that you will like this task. It was a great pleasure to work with you. Thank you. Goodbye. See you next time.